My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Waterworld. Now, the only other thing Waterworld related I've seen in my life is the stunt show at Universal Studios. Every time I go there, I have to check it out. I think it is fantastic. Just the amount of production design put into it and the stunts, I think it's a really fantastic little show there. And even though I heard really bad things about this movie and I knew it completely flopped at the box office, I still went into this movie with high expectations. I feel like it could have been like a dumb, goofy, fun movie. But after watching it, I wish that was the case, but it is most certainly not. It's impressive in many regards, but it just ends up being a giant Borefest. This movie is directed by Kevin Reynolds, who does some things incredibly well in this movie, and some things incredibly poorly. The things I like that he does is the fact that this movie isn't shot in front of a giant green screen. It's shot on open water, and you can tell every single second, and it's quite impressive in that regard. It feels like a movie. It feels real, and I love that about it. I also love the production design and the sets and all the practical effects of this movie. It really allows it to stand out. But my favorite thing about this movie is the use of miniatures. I looked up some behind the scenes, and just some of that stuff is absolutely incredible, and it's the type of stuff I love seeing in my movies. I also think the stunt work is quite impressive as well, and this movie does have some entertaining action moments. But everything else about this movie is just so bad, and as much as I like some of his directing here, this movie is completely lacking in any bit of energy. This movie is like, 2 hours and 20 minutes long or something like that, and you feel every second of it. You're blown away by what's being accomplished on the screen in some moments, but every other moment you're bored to tears. And at the time of recording this review, I have seen some complaints on some of my recent videos of people saying that they don't like it when I say a movie is boring and that's not a proper critique, and I completely disagree. Boring is a proper critique. It is. A movie should grab you in some sort of way, whether it entertains you, whether it gets you emotionally invested, whether it seeks out to scare you and succeed, whether it seeks out to make you laugh and succeeds. A movie has to get your attention one way or the other. And if it's never able to do that and there's zero investment and that movie is boring as a result, that's a valid critique. But instead of saying that all the time, I just say it's boring. And that is definitely the case here. For a movie called Waterworld, with so much water, this movie couldn't be more dry if it tried. Now let's begin talking about the cast. Kevin Costner I do really like as an actor. I think he's great in Yellowstone. I like him in Field of Dreams. This is definitely a hot take though. I think his best performance is this little Western thriller that came out a few years ago called Let 'Em Go. I thought he was absolutely fantastic in that movie, and if that's his best performance, this one is definitely his worst. I've never seen this actor be as bland as he is here. He has no bit of personality or charisma. It's a flat performance in every single possible way. Then you've got Janine Tripplehorn, who I also found to be incredibly bland. There's nothing about her character that stands out in any way. You've got Dennis Hopper, who around this period of time was playing lots of villains, like he played the villain in Super Mario Bros., and I thought he was bad in that movie. He was the villain in Speed, which I think is maybe his best performance, and he's the villain in this movie, and it should have been a crazy, over-the-top performance, but I just found him to be so boring in this movie. And then you've got Tina Majourini, who I found to be quite bad as well. And I'm supposed to care for Kevin Costner's relationship with the girl and also his relationship with the woman. And I'm supposed to care about these relationships, and just never at a point did I. The script tells you that they're getting closer and closer, but at no point do you actually feel it. Now, I do like the whole premise of this movie, that it's this world completely flooded, people have to live on the water now, and someone has a map to dry land. I think that is an absolutely fantastic premise. I just wish they utilized it better. Like with a premise like that, it should have had like a treasure hunting vibe to it of them looking for this dry land, looking for clues. And then maybe he has to find some symbols on some city that's been flooded. I think that would have been great. But the movie just found the dullest way to go about it. And I hate the fact that they stay on top of this boat for almost the entire movie. The entire movie just looks like the same shot over and over again. You know, like, whenever he goes down into the water, those moments are incredible. Have more of that. You know, because the movie is visually really repetitive. And there was so much opportunity to do way more with this story, and they just found the safest, most generic and boring way. And all of the characters I found to be bland. Just nobody stands out in any kind of way. So even though I do respect certain elements of this movie, like the practical effects and the miniatures and the stunt work and all that stuff really is phenomenal. And it's almost enough to save this movie. But at 2 hours and 20 minutes long, it lacking any bit of energy and it being as boring as it is, I just can't recommend this movie. I watched it and I told myself I will never watch it again and that I regret watching it. And if that's the case, despite the impressive elements of it, I can't give it a good review. So I'm going to go ahead and give Waterworld a 4.5 out of 10. Okay, have you seen Waterworld? What's the wettest movie you've ever seen? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.